Hey guys, how you going? How's it? Morten Ostad here. Welcome to my channel and welcome to an eBay unboxing. Yes, I've ordered a record from a seller on eBay, which I don't do very often. But this particular record, I haven't found it in the wild. It is relatively rare, I would probably say. Not necessarily very expensive if you on Discogs, if you don't mind a rather ratty copy. I don't think this was released on vinyl in a ton of countries, at least not according to Discogs. It doesn't seem like. As you know, I love the music made by Tim Finn and, of course, his brother Neil Finn, and Crowded House and Finn Brothers, but also, of course, Split Ends. Now, this is not one of those records where I keep buying a different color version. This is something else. So let's see what we have here. So let's put up some. I think you're supposed to be able to open and tear here, but kind of hard to. Here we go, maybe. Yeah, and that's where the tape gets in the way. Oh, come on. Nope, that didn't work. Right. It's rather hefty glue on this. But let's see if I can. Careful. Oh, God. A bit harder than I thought it would be. By the way, so this copy comes all the way from Australia. A seller there over in Queensland, I think. Hang on. Yeah. With a very Danish sounding surname, by the way. Bloomsbury in Queensland. And one of the reasons I ended up getting it from an Australian seller was I found a copy that, according to him, was in fairly good nick and pressed in Australia. And yeah, it's not in the best shape. But I don't have this album at all on vinyl. So I'm just gonna remove this. Yeah, it's not. This is a record I'm going to be replacing at whenever opportunity comes along. Anyway, guys, this is Split Ends. See you around. So this was their final album. After the initial years of rather turbulent times, early success back home in New Zealand, and then they released their first album over there. They were enticed to come to the UK and sort of try and get their career up and running there. I think Mushroom Records and was it Virgin made a deal, and they spent a couple of years in the UK. did not do very well. Tried to get into the American market, and then what was it? Was it Judd? Oh, Judd. Oh God! One of the a few of the initial members quit after 2 years and 3 years and so on, and they called in Neil Finn, Tim's brother, who had at that time, had wanted to join them in a way already at 14. And he came to the UK, and they recorded an album that ended up never being released, which came out 15 years ago on CD finally, called Luton Tapes. And for some reason that didn't pan out. Then things turned around when Tim was actually saying, "Yeah, if this doesn't take off in 6 months, I'm going to leave the band." And then they released. They got a big hit with Neil Finn penned song. I See Red, and the album True Colors, and they followed that up with Wayada or Corroboree. Corroboree around the world and Wayada in Australia. Which and then a couple of more successful albums, Time and Tide, of course. And then they didn't have the same management as they had in the early days, and Tim was allowed to F off and make a solo album, and he had big success with that. So when he returned for the next album called Conflicting Emotions, he was suddenly just writing about a quarter of the songs and Neil the rest, and the dynamic had shifted, and he was clearly not very keen or interested, and so he left the band again, permanently this time, and Neil, along with new drummer Paul Hester, recorded this Split Ends album, and then they decided to call it quits. With a farewell tour, which included Tim then again. So yeah, I think this is a really good album, but it's I guess it doesn't have a big status in Split Ends lore, but yeah. There's some really good songs here. I just wish that this copy would have looked a little bit better. There's another version of this where this sort of peach or salmon like color is silver, and I think that might be European. Let's have a look at the vinyl. So one of the reasons I was really keen on this was to get a mushroom copy, so not actual Australian copy. Apart from what looks like a bit of gunk in the run-out groove, this looks actually really pretty good. Is this a dirt or something else? Yeah, it looks like dirt. Yeah, so there's a mushroom label. The more modern one. I don't think I have any mushroom labels of the even older ones, although maybe on a single. So yeah, it's a really I really like this album. So I suppose I Walk Away is there was the single from this. Yeah. So sort of all the tracks with vocals on them, if I remember correctly, are written by Neil, and then there are a few. No, that's wrong. Sorry, that was the instrumentals on See You Around were written by other members than Neil or Tim. Tim, of course, hasn't written anything here, but everyone's a critic. Everyone's a writer here, I think. So you got Eddie Rayner's written a song, Nigel Griggs, and This Is Massive is written by Paul Hester, and Noel Crombie's written one. Yeah. And then the rest are Neil Finn, and there's a collaboration with Neil Finn and Eddie Rayner. So you've got Neil Finn and Tyler on one side, and the other band members have written the songs on the B side. I was happy to see. It was one of the reasons I bought this. It came with the inlay with the lyrics on it. There you go. And I also recommend that you see the video for I Walk Away. Fun video where they're doing these cutouts and everything in the video. So obviously I'm very happy to have this. I now have all of Split Enz. Let's call them proper studio albums. Which is to say, what is perceived as the second album, I don't have. That's even more expensive and difficult to get online, because it. But is it a proper album? Well, apart from 2 songs, it basically contains all the songs from their debut album. Some re-recorded and stuff, but so in a sense, I mean, I have all their albums in a box on CD, and it's one of them, but it's not the one that I pick out very often, because if I listen to their debut album and that one right after, I'm basically almost entirely hearing the same songs played again. So yeah, of course I want to get it in my collection, but in a way I've actually sort of managed to do a Split Enz studio album completion. So yeah, got a couple of more Split Enz coming, hopefully, from Discogs, but they are more color variants of the records that I've already owned, and one of them will be the Australian color version of this album. So Waiata, I have Canadian version, I have a European version. Actually, I think I have 2 Canadian versions, but they're all color versions. But the Australian version looks quite different, and hopefully I will be able to show you that one in a week or so. Apart from that, very happy to add more Finn Brothers related products to my collection. I love Crowded House, Split Enz, Neil, Tim very much. So even though that album cover was a bit of a I'm very happy to have it all the way from Australia, having bought it on eBay, which I don't do very often. So if you've watched this so far, if you have any Split Enz stories to tell me, pray share, and I hope to see you soon in another video. And if you wouldn't mind, please click like and subscribe. That helps my channel and it makes me happy.